Holyrood's in recess this week, and so the Scottish Press Pack was in London, basically building contacts and networking, which is code for boozing and scoffing the free buffets. One of the politicians that they got time with was the Prime Minister, and he was keen to respond to the First Minister's suggestion that an outright SNP victory next year would lead to Indyref 2. Keir Starmer said, and I quote, "He's insulting the intelligence of Scottish people." So it seems to me that we're no further forward on Indyref 2 compared to SNP conference, regardless of the result next year. It's just not going to happen, is it?
Well, I don't know. It's not going to happen primarily because the SNP aren't going to win a majority. I still think, and I think the position has always been a majority one party, like Salmond achieved in 2011, would make it very politically difficult to say no for the UK government. It would, and that's been the bar that's set. The SNP's never managed to clear that bar since. To me, all Swinney's done is set out what we all already knew anyway, which was that if the SNP can somehow manage to win a majority, then they would have a much stronger, I'm not saying it would be unanswerable, but it would be a much stronger case for saying we've got a mandate for a second referendum. Whether Starmer would agree or not, I don't know. But I think it's all academic because the SNP just aren't going to win another.
I mean, the polls show them nudging up, though. So when Swinney took over, I think they were expecting, this is a sort of extrapolation of the polls from the time that he took over, they were in their sort of late 30s. Now they're expected to get about 60. So they really are going up at the expense of Labour and the fracture in the pro-UK vote. So they're not that far off it in terms of the polls.
No, I mean, I just think as polling day gets close and the campaign proper starts, the focus will switch to the SNP's record, and the record's dreadful in virtually every department, apart from paying lots more benefits, which nobody can afford.
I think as well, you talked there about how the SNP, the polls have went from kind of high 30s to nudging.
Well, no, so it's extrapolation of seats. Yeah, rather than...
That's what I mean. But the actual poll hasn't moved. That they're still sitting on with 35%. The only reason that they're moving up is because of this fracture in the unionist vote. There seems to be some suggestions this week. I've seen that maybe the reform, reform have plateaued a bit early in Scotland. I think Nigel Farage's vow that they were going to fight all 73 constituency seats might come back to kind of haunt them. They'd be much better maybe focusing on certain areas. Which
would be amazing for Labour. I mean, that would just be if they decided not to contest every first past the post seat, particularly in the Central Belt. Exactly, that would be a gift for Labour.
And I think that's ultimately, as Ben says, I've said it on here a million times. As we get closer and closer.